Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super discussion video. Now, today I am joined by Dimsy from Dimsy's Domain. Dimsy, why don't you say hi, man?
Hi, man.
There you go. Okay, guys, so today we're going to be talking about a little bit of a theory that I had or something, just going forward with exactly what it is that we saw throughout this last arc of Dragon Ball Super. And one of the big things there that a lot of people had kind of fell over themselves for was Super Saiyan Rose, the whole kind of pink Super Saiyan god. We don't actually know if that was a god or anything, but I had a theory and I was going to just throw it out there to Dimsy and see what he actually thought about this. So basically, we know that in order to become a Super Saiyan god, you need to do the ritual, or you need Whis to train you, something like that. And then you also kind of need a pure heart. That was one of the things, is 6 pure-hearted Saiyans must be there to actually make Super Saiyan God, and we know that Vegeta and Goku both have pure heart because of that ritual. And maybe that is kind of when Whis trains you, that's also one of the things that needs to happen for anyone to actually become a Super Saiyan God. And then I was thinking well, okay, but then what is Super Saiyan Rose? Because I know a lot of people would think, that's just kind of his interpretation of what Super Saiyan is, not just Super Saiyan God, but just pure Super Saiyan. But it had kind of the same aura, the same kind of milky, glistening look to it that the Super Saiyan God looks had. So I was thinking, one of the big things they were talking about with this arc was, the whole Zamasu making tea, and it kept going from, black to, pure and everything, because apparently his heart was pure or evil or anything like that. But, even Gowasu was tricked by Zamasu's quote unquote, here, air quotes, pure of heart tea, and he's like, okay, well, no, he must be fine. He's directed, he's focused, he's everything like that. But we all know he was evil. So what if the whole concept there is you don't have to be good to be pure of heart. You just need to be focused. You need to know what you're doing is right, and you need to have a sense of accomplishment or worthiness or something to that. And what we saw from Goku Black was his interpretation, somewhat of a Super Saiyan demon, or a false Super Saiyan God, something a little bit more evil but also pure of heart in his own way. So Dimsy, what do you think of that, man?
I think it's completely plausible in the sense of him being purely evil instead of being purely good. You spoke about Gowasu doing the whole tea test, which is so stupid, but you know how he was alternating between all completely dark and proper tea colory, beige and a tea color. So when he achieved that Super Saiyan Rose form, it could have been the tea was completely black. So you don't have to be purely good, purely whatever, so long as you're purely something. For example, in Dragon Ball, that filler arc where Mercenary Tao climbed Karin's tower and then he got the Dark Nimbus. Although it was filler, but the point is you have to be pure evil, pure, have malice in your heart to ride that cloud, in contrast to the Flying Nimbus, which you have to be pure heart in terms of good. But the point is, I completely agree. I do think that this whole, as you dubbed it, Super Saiyan Demon, which sounds absolutely phenomenal, and it's also a massive contrast to Super Saiyan God. The opposite of God, usually what people say is devil, demon, etc., something along them lines. So I completely think that this is plausible, and this could be a reason, and it should be a reason, and they should hire you to write this down in the law.
I'm just saying, one of the things, they never really explained. That was one of the things that I kind of got. I think a lot of people, they don't explain anything. They never really explained what that transformation was. They never explained what Trunks' transformation was. It was just, oh, isn't this cool? It looks cool. So and that's fine for one way or another, but it leaves us to pick up the pieces. And personally, this is all I could really come up with. And, for one thing, I was saying they made a very clear point both ways to say that in order to become a Super Saiyan God, you need to be pure of heart. But in order to, but then they brought in this whole Zamasu's not necessarily pure of heart. And I think back in Dragon Ball, I might have been, it might have been Dragon Ball Z when Vegeta was explaining how he became a Super Saiyan. And they're like, you have to be, you have to I'm not necessarily sure. Like, you need to find a need from within, but it can come from a lot of different
I
places.
think whatever your resolve is, you have to be pure-hearted in whatever resolve it is. Like Vegeta wanted to be stronger, but he was purely just thinking about that. Whereas Goku, it has to be a heightened emotion, and I think Zamasu's ability, or Goku Black's ability to become Super Saiyan Rose, was his heightened emotion, his pure anger towards mortals, because it's you have to be very emotional, I guess. Goku was angry that Frieza killed Krillin. Vegeta was angry that Goku surpassed him. Zamasu was angry that mortals were able to tap into such a power, which is unheard of. So I think you have to be really, really strong in that resolve. Also, I do think that, the whole Super Saiyan Blue aspect, they said in interviews as well as just in the anime itself, it's all about tranquility as well, inner tranquility, inner calmness. So I think that Zamasu and his demeanor in general is very calm. He's very composed usually, because he's a man with a plan and he knows exactly what he's doing. Although this changes later on, as all villains become insane later on. He was completely happy with his evil nature. He thinks it's right. So in his warped mind, he's thinking that, okay, I am justice, I am righteousness. So his form of good was actually evil, but he interpreted it to be good. So if anything, in his head, he's thinking, hey, I'm pure of heart, I'm good. I am the justice that needs to be brung on to these mortals. And at the same time, because he was so calm in what he's doing, and he's just convinced he's doing the right thing, so he has this tranquility in his inner self. So he had tranquility, he has the pure of heart, wherever it may be, and that's how he could tap into Super Saiyan Demon.
I like that, because like that was the one thing that all that was making me think of was that, remember that scene where Zamasu's sitting there drinking tea and Black is just sitting there like sitting down, and he gets up and he just like completely effortlessly turns Super Saiyan Rose, and like just sitting there and like feeling the power, just standing there, not doing anything. Like the transformation is almost kind of null and void. I mean, it's not shaking the world. It's just there because he's just so in the moment at that point where he's just turning it into this transformation and then turning out of it just to kind of showcase the new power really calmly. I mean, it's just like his whole concept as a character is so calm, and he has this inner perspective of himself, like you were saying. So that was my whole concept, is if this transformation, if this concept of who he is so pure-hearted, even if it's evil, it was able to actually create this completely new transformation that we've never seen. And if this is true and something that we're going to keep going, like see more and more of, it would be really interesting for them to kind of explore this transformation in general, and not just to go, well, yeah, it's something that Goku and Vegeta can do because, whatever retcon, it was like Super Saiyan God 2 or something like that. I don't want to see that. I think a lot of people don't want to see that. If you're going to bring up this new transformation, and if this is the only time we see it, that's fine. But if they ever bring it back, then it should have a legitimate reason, something like this. Yeah. Pure-hearted Saiyans of evil. That's one thing that Universe 7 had, and now we're going into Universe 6. We're probably going to see those Saiyans. I mean, are some of them evil enough to actually have that transformation, and maybe even have this transformation? What if 6 completely pure-hearted Saiyans of nothing but evil, depraved-hearted Saiyans like Cold Hands, do they become...
Calm down. You're going off on one again. You need to calm down, Mark. Reel yourself back to reality. Real. Yeah.
But I feel like, but I'm just saying like that, to me, that would be something interesting and worth watching and worth seeing going down the line. Probably not. I'm probably just throwing a whole lot to the wind right now, and nothing's going to actually come of any of this, and it was just kind of a one-off like everything else. But I'm just saying it's a cool concept. They can bring it back, and we could see a little bit more of it in a more in-depth, this is what that actually was, and learn more in the lore, but also have some awesome transformations going forward.
Yeah, I agree. And the final point I would say regarding Zamasu and Super Saiyan Rose is the fact that he is essentially the god of contradiction because of the fact that he was using Goku's body to achieve such a power, but at the same time he despised everything about Goku being able to achieve the power. So maybe him having such a warped mindset allowed him to tap into not only all of his power as a Kaioshin or an apprentice Kaioshin, as well as all of Goku's power as a Saiyan, and then he was able to combine it, and that's how we got maybe a Super Saiyan Rose. It's like a poisoned or a dark version, a devil version, as you said, a demon version of Super Saiyan. But yeah, I think that Zamasu a messed up character, and he was an excellent character for that very reason.
I completely agree, and hopefully, maybe he'll come back someday, but we never know. I mean, they didn't necessarily leave it off on that, but I mean, maybe that's a discussion for another time. Anyway, guys, we're going to leave it at that. If you liked what we had to say, please make sure to leave your comments in the comment section below. Please make sure to go check out Dimsy. Make some really awesome content. Stuff that you don't necessarily see and stuff that you don't really hear. Some really niche stuff that no one else is really talking about. So please make sure to go check that out. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to me and to Dimsy. And we're going to catch you on the next discussion. Bye.
Bye.